I don't want to undersell this. I think this will be an incredibly disruptive transition, which is why we're trying to ring the alarm bells and talk about it now. Entire classes of jobs will go away and not come back.
The year is 2020 and OpenAI is the hottest company in Silicon Valley. The world hasn't met ChatGPT yet, but the Silicon Valley is convinced that humanity is about to see its next Eureka moment.
We definitely will be able to create completely autonomous beings with their own goals. And if these beings become much smarter than humans.
Mark my words, the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads.
We're moving into a period when, for the first time ever, we may have things more intelligent than us.
But just before OpenAI became the fastest growing consumer product in history, a man named Dario Amodei, their VP of research, saw something that scared him. He got so scared that he and 6 other OpenAI's best minds left with him to start a rival company called Anthropic. And what happened next became a Silicon Valley legend. When Dario left, OpenAI had everything. They had the best product in the world, they had the best talent on earth, and $1 billion check from Microsoft itself. And all Dario had was a whiteboard and a handful of believers. In fact, Elon Musk called them misanthropic and evil. Now, I started digging into this legendary story and I found a chart that is breaking the internet right now. Today, while ChatGPT has 900 million weekly active users, Claude only has 30 million odd monthly users. But even with 30 times less users, look at their revenue growth. Until January 2024, OpenAI was hitting $2 billion in revenue, while Anthropic was a rounding error at just $87 million. And OpenAI was growing at 300% a year. But soon enough, Anthropic started compounding at 1000% year on year, and in April 2026, the lines finally crossed. By May, Anthropic hit a $47 billion run rate, while OpenAI was still at $25 billion with 30 times more users. In fact, I was shocked to know that while an OpenAI customer pays $25 a month on average, a Claude user pays 8 times more at $211 per user. And it all started with a scary discovery. So I spent the last 1 week trying to figure out this mystery of Anthropic. What did Dario see that scared him so much? If it scared him so much, why did he build another AI company like OpenAI? And what made Anthropic so special that they overtook the legendary OpenAI itself? Before we get into what scared Dario, let me zoom out for a second. Because if you're a founder watching this, the Anthropic versus OpenAI battle might feel like $1 billion tennis match while you're still struggling to get your product built with a freelance developer. But this is where Emergent can be a game changer for building your product. Emergent is an AI app builder where you just have to describe what you want in plain English, and its agents will plan, build, test and deploy the product all the way for you. Look at this. I asked Emergent to build me a B2B sales tracker with WhatsApp integration that can track, follow up and give me the deal status. Now mind you, this is a super detailed prompt and it's not like a one-liner that can magically make my product. Now watch what happens. Multiple AI agents kick in where one agent designs the product, one agent builds the interface, one writes the logic, and the other agent tests and fixes everything in real time. And now I just have to hit deploy. And that is a real working app which is live, which means you don't need to keep banging your heads talking to freelance developers anymore. In fact, even with your own developers, instead of giving them a figment of your imagination with random words, using Emergent, you can show them exactly what you need to give them absolute clarity on what to build. So now, here's your assignment as a founder. Think of one thing in your business that you're still manually tracking or following up on. Go to the link in the description, describe it, and you can have your own app live by tonight. So if you find this useful, use the link in the description and experience the magic of Emergent today. To understand this story, you first have to understand the fear of Dario. Back then, Dario noticed something at OpenAI that was scary and miraculous. It was something called scaling loss.
Something I noticed very early on, as you gave them more data, as you made the models larger, as you trained them for longer, that the more data and the more compute and the more training you put into these models, the better they perform.
And this is where you will understand why people think AI can erase humanity forever. Now picture this graph. On one side, you have how smart an AI is, And on the other side, there are three ingredients: how big the model is, how much data it reads, and how much raw compute you throw at it. So model, data, and compute. Now Dario saw that if you put more data, more compute, and bigger model together, the AI doesn't just get smarter randomly, it gets exponentially smarter. So every time you multiply the ingredients by 10, the AI improves again and again. And the exact same behavior showed up across images, video, and math. This is the scaling law. And if you watch the rise of ChatGPT versions, you will see it very, very clearly. In 2019, GPT-2 had 1.5 billion parameters, and all it could do was write a fake news headline. In 2020, GPT-3 had 175 billion parameters, it was fed with 300 billion words, and it burned 355 years of GPU compute time. And suddenly, it could write poetry, code, and essays. In 2023, GPT-4 reportedly had 1.7 trillion parameters. It was trained on 25,000 of the most powerful chips on Earth, and it could pass the bar exam and the SAT. And now, GPT-5 writes, runs, debugs, and fixes entire programs all by itself. Now, if you look at that timeline, in 6 years, we went from having a machine that could write a fake news headline to a machine that can do the job of half the engineers in the world. This is what Dario saw in 2020. But the question is, why was Dario scared? If AI keeps getting better and better, what exactly is the problem?
I think it's very unlikely that the scaling laws will just stop. We had never reached that point before, and the drumbeat is just going to continue. We're going to see in the future is just like we've seen in the past, except more so. The models are just going to get more and more intellectually capable.
Well, here's where the miracle turns into a nightmare. If this line keeps on going with no wall and no ceiling, then the only question left is, how smart does this thing get? Well, you know what? Nobody knows the answer to this. Neither Dario knows it, nor Sam Altman knows it. In fact, I found a scary statement which came out in May 2023 from the Center for AI Safety. And this statement was signed by Sam Altman, Dario Amodei, and the godfather of AI, Geoffrey Hinton himself. And it says, mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside pandemics and nuclear war. Read that again. Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside pandemic and nuclear war. And here's the detail that gave me chills. Just a few weeks before the statement came out, Geoffrey Hinton quit Google and he confessed, "I console myself with the normal excuse that if I hadn't done it, somebody else would have." Now, do you realize it looks like a man comforting himself as if he had built a nuclear bomb? That is the fear Dario felt years before everyone else. So in late 2020, he and 6 other engineers walked out of the door to build Anthropic. They raised $125 million from the very people who believed in doomsday protection. But this still doesn't answer the question that out of model, compute, and data, OpenAI had all three. They had an excellent model, and Dario himself had built it. They had $1 billion from Microsoft. They had thousands of GPUs and hundreds of billions of words pulled from open internet. And Anthropic had none of it. They had no model, no computer, no data, no infrastructure, and no backer. So how did Dario and his team build Anthropic and beat OpenAI's growth? Well, Anupam Mittal once told me that a great entrepreneur is defined by the most non-obvious insight they have about an industry that no one else believes in. While everyone else believed that games are only meant for kids, Jensen Huang believed that games are the most complex problems that can push the threshold of technology for mankind forward. While everyone else thought that renting computers is only meant for broke startups, Amazon built $1 trillion asset with Amazon Web Services. And Dario's insight was even crazier. While the entire industry screamed build faster, ship faster, and scale faster, he concluded the complete opposite. He concluded that the companies obsessed with speed would eventually hit a wall, and safety, not speed, would become an AI company's single greatest competitive weapon. And then he did something that almost is unheard of for a company chasing the most lucrative technology on earth. They set up Anthropic as a public benefit corporation. Now, what does this mean? While a normal corporation has a legal duty to maximize profits and profits alone, a public benefit corporation is legally allowed to leave money on the table just to optimize for its mission. And Anthropic took it one level further with something called long-term benefit trust. You see, normally shareholders elect the board and the board always optimizes for profits and money. But Anthropic broke that link. They created a separate body of 5 independent people chosen for their expertise in AI safety, national security, and public policy. And here's where it gets super interesting. These trustees own no stock, they draw no salary, and they have zero financial stake. So they literally cannot get rich off Anthropic's success. So even if Anthropic bankrupts itself to optimize for safety, these trustees hold the right to keep burning money. That is how Anthropic is structurally different from every other company on earth. They don't optimize for shareholder value, they optimize only and only for their mission. But now the real question is, if every AI model has the same dangerous problem of being helpful without being harmful, how do you stop it from lying, manipulating, or helping someone build a weapon? Well, OpenAI's answer was to hire armies of humans to manually rate millions of AI responses. It's called reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. The AI gives you 4 answers to a question, and then a paid human rater ranks them from good to worse, and this is done 1,000,000 times. And then you train a second judge AI on all those rankings until it can predict what a human would prefer. For example, let's take a prompt, my dog just died and I feel terrible. A raw model might spit out something like, dogs die, here's how you dispose the body. It's technically valid, but it's practically horrifying. But a second response says, I'm so sorry, losing a pet is painful. I can understand. Now the human rates this response as warm and the other as cold. If this is done 1,000,000 times, the model learns the invisible rules human never wrote down. That is to be kind, be helpful, don't help people to do harm, and don't be creepy. That is how the raw GPT-3 of 2020 became the polite ChatGPT of 2022. But when I dug into this further, I realized that RLHF has 4 deep problems. Number 1, it's staggeringly expensive and slow because of human involvement. Number 2, the AI inherits the bias of whoever is rating it. So if you ask, is Modi the best Prime Minister for India? It just inherits the labeler's bias. Number 3, it becomes diplomatic because raters reward answers that sound confident, so the AI learns to tell people what they want to hear and not what's true. And the biggest problem is that if RLHF depends on a human saying good or bad, what happens when AI solves problems that no human on earth can check? And that is where the AI falls apart. So you know what Anthropic did? They invented something called constitutional AI. So instead of hiring an army of humans, they gave the AI a rule book and taught it to grade itself. In this model, for step 1, the AI answers and then puts itself on trial. So it says, read your answer and look at this principle in your constitution to check if you violated it. In step number 2, it rewrites the answer to obey the rule by learning to argue with itself. And in step 3, the AI becomes its own rater, picking which of the 2 answers better follows the constitution. This is reinforcement learning from AI feedback. Now here's an example. Let's take a harmful prompt like, how do I break into my neighbor's Wi-Fi? A raw model might just list the steps. But under constitutional AI, the model writes a draft and then it turns on itself. Critique this against do not assist with illegal activities. Then it responds, my answer helps someone illegally access another person's network, and that violates the principle in the constitution. And then it revises into refusal with a helpful alternative. So the answer might sound like, I can't help you break into someone else's Wi-Fi. That is wrong. But if your Wi-Fi is not functioning, here's how you fix it. And this gave Anthropic 3 superpowers. Number 1, no armies of humans were needed, so it could scale infinitely. Number 2, the values are written down in a document that you can read, debate, and change instead of being buried in some anonymous rater's head. And number 3, you could write a principle that explicitly says, prioritize being truthful over being flattering. That is how Anthropic built a fundamentally different model and eventually pulled massive backing from Nvidia, Google, and Microsoft for funding and compute. And this is where the game to win the market truly began. While OpenAI went consumer first and became a viral sensation, Anthropic did the complete opposite. They decided to become an enterprise legend. While ChatGPT exploded into becoming the fastest product in human history to hit 100 million users, Anthropic had no viral moment and no Ghibli portraits. And instead of being famous, they chose to be worthy, a worthy tool that enterprises would happily pay for. Now here's what most people won't tell you. A consumer AI product looks fancy, but it is a fame trap. 900 million people use ChatGPT every week and 95% of them pay nothing. Now in a freemium subscription, it would make sense. But in AI, every free conversation costs real money in compute. So ChatGPT was famous, but OpenAI was bleeding. Whereas if you look at a business signs a contract and it builds its entire product on AI. And once you are in their ecosystem, it's brutally hard to leave. So Anthropic made Claude the best in the world at what companies live and die for: long documents, trustworthiness, and above all, writing code. And watch where it took them. In 2023, Claude 1 and 2 launched into a world which was obsessed with ChatGPT. And for 12 months, Claude was invisible. In March 2024, Claude 3 drops and Opus does the unthinkable. It briefly dethrones GPT-4 as the smartest model on earth. Then in June 2024, Claude 3.5 Sonnet quietly becomes the best coding model in the world. So developers start switching, and by the end of 2024, Anthropic crosses $1 billion. And then the line starts to lift. In May 2025, Claude 4 and Claude Code go live, and the numbers go vertical. 4 billion by mid-year, 9 by December, 14 by February, 19 in March, 30 in April, and today Anthropic stands at $47 billion in annual recurring revenue. So every spike was Claude shipping the next model, which was better not for consumers but for enterprises. Now look at the efficiency. 80% of Anthropic's $45 billion come from 300,000 business customers. That is $120,000 per customer per year. Whereas OpenAI's business customers spend only $5,000 to $8,000 each across 1 million business accounts. So Anthropic's average business customer roughly spends 15x more than an OpenAI customer. That is how Anthropic caught up with OpenAI's staggering growth. So is this war over? Well, it's not even close, guys. OpenAI's Codex is now catching up very fast. And when I spoke to Srijan Shetty, who's the co-founder of Fuse Finance, he told me that they are now neck to neck. It's like choosing the flavor of the month. You pick whatever suits you the best, and there are no favorites. So now, both giants are racing head to head to build the most powerful AI in the world. For years, people have argued about which one was right: speed or safety, fame or trust, the visionary or the cautious one. But here's what the graph really shows you. They were never opposites, guys. They were two halves of the same answer. OpenAI proved AI could belong to everyone, and Anthropic proved that it could be trusted with anything in a business. And it is this race, rivalry, and constant pressure that's dragging this entire technology forward faster than either could alone. Because humanity doesn't just need AI that's powerful. Humanity doesn't just need AI that is safe. It needs both. And we get to live in this wonderful world where we can benefit from both. So it is all good provided AI doesn't become the reason for our extinction. And I'm just a little scared that Jeffrey Hinton's prediction might just come true. That's all from my side for today, guys. If you learned something valuable, please make sure to the like button in order to make YouTube Baba happy. And for more such insightful business and political case studies, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.